No more thunderstorms for the rest of the year, but fire weather concerns? You bet. Oh dear. Let's talk about it in this Monday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. It is Monday, the 30th of December 2024. I am Texas Storm Chasers Building-in-Chief David Reimer after a very busy late December period to end the year for the state, probably the busiest we've had since 2015. And those tornadoes, unofficially, no data to back it up, it's just my personal recollection. We are done with severe weather for the year in terms of convection, thunderstorms. No more of that. Foggy mornings, yes. Potential for near record high temperatures this afternoon with significant fire concerns? Yes. When's our next chance for precipitation, and when's it going to turn cold? Well, let's talk about it by starting with the high-res rapid refresh model for today tonight into New Year's Eve, Tuesday. Today, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a cloud in the sky across the state. It's going to be beautiful, warm, at times windy. Fog at Tuesday morning. Start off deep South Texas, Rio Grande Valley, coastal plain Southeast Texas, burning off by about 10, 11 a.m. As we go into tomorrow afternoon, a few more clouds, and we're going to see a cold front starting to move south into the state with a resultant drop in temperatures. But no precipitation, I'm afraid. So, let's take a look at the fire weather conditions the next couple of days. Today, haven't seen that much red on this map in a very long time, probably since the flash drought back in September. But here we go. Today, very high to extreme. Wildfire danger is expected and forecast from the Texas A&M Forest Service, the Texas Panhandle, West Texas, the Permian Basin, Guadalupe Mounds, Davis Mounds, Trans-Pecos, the Big Bend, the borderland of far west Texas, the Concho Valley, the Hill Country, the Big Country, northwest Texas, even down the Edwards Plateau. Moderate to high fire danger expected along and west of, let's just say I-35 from pretty much Texoma through North Texas, Central Texas, South Central Texas, all the way down through, Laredo. And then, technically, I guess it rides I-37 down towards Corpus. But tomorrow will be less intense with generally moderate fire danger across most of the state with pockets of higher danger possible. The Big Bend, South Texas, and the Edwards Plateau. Since this is the first big fire weather threat we've had in a couple of months, it's a good time to point out that yes, some folks have had rain recently, but it doesn't matter too much when most surface fuels, grasses, vegetation, are dormant for the winter because of freezes earlier this year, last couple weeks. So that means the grass is dead, the fire will spread with gusty winds today, low humidity, near record high temperatures. So please be mindful of that. Be cautious when using outdoor equipment that could produce a spark. And just use common sense. I realize for some that's going to be difficult, but let's try our best now. All right, here is the Long Range American Weather Model, the global forecast system taking us through the new year, beginning Wednesday. Now, this isn't actually even the right model because this is September. I updated this, but apparently it did not care. So we're just going to pretend I'm knowledgeable and know what I'm talking about. But actually, here's the global forecast system. Here you go. You can see maybe some moisture South Texas, Lower Texas Gulf Coast up through the coastal bend as we go into Wednesday. And light rain at that, more like a drizzle or mist. It's not going to amount to much, maybe a few hundredths of an inch of rain. It's going to be cooler as we go through midweek, especially the northern half of the state. But as you can see, we really don't see a lot of moisture outside of maybe some drizzle, morning fog, the southern, southeastern third of the state through late week. Now, as we get into Saturday and Sunday, it looks like we're going to have our next storm system arrive across the plains of the United States. What that means for us is up in the air. You can see a winter mix possible across Kansas. And at this point, It looks like maybe the chance for some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. At this point, not looking like a severe weather threat. Across the eastern third to the eastern half of Texas Saturday night through Sunday evening before that system ejects out of the plains and goes bye-bye. So, forecast rain totals today through 6 p.m. Friday. Just to show you, there's actually stuff on this map. You can see 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 inch of rain possible through late week across the Gulf of Mexico. Us, nada, zero, zilch, bye-bye, not going to happen. This scale begins at 1/10 of an inch, though, so there may be a few hundredths of an inch possible in the areas we discussed earlier, but really nothing that is even going to be worth writing home about. That being said, morning fog could be an issue for southeastern third of the state through the late week, and of course that does have aviation-related impacts. Temperatures over the next 5 days. Today, again, near record high temperatures. We're looking at 90s. 90 in Laredo, 90s to upper 80s. Deep South Texas, the Edwards Plateau into the eastern Big Bend. We're looking at 80s all the way up I-35. Central Texas, the Hill Country, North Texas, back into the Concho Valley and the Permian Basin. And upper 70s into northwest Texas, West Texas, the Brazos Valley, southeast Texas, the borderland of far west Texas. The coolest spots today, highs in the 60s, northern half of the Texas Panhandle, with 70s in the eastern third of the state as well. Enjoy it because we'll probably pay for it at some point in the coming weeks. Tomorrow, much cooler comparatively across the northern half of the state, but seasonable. It's going to be pretty chilly in the Panhandle. We're going to go from, highs in the 60s, low 70s, highs 25 degrees cooler tomorrow. We're going to be mid-upper 40s, Panhandle, West Texas, 50s, Northwest Texas, Texoma, Northeast Texas, the Arklatex, North Texas, the Big Country, the Permian Basin, so northern half of the state, really. Still 60s to 70s, southern half of the state, and out in the borderland. Here is Wednesday. Cooler. 60s, southern third of the state, 50s, northern 2/3 of the state, minus northwest Texas and the Panhandle, where we're not getting out of the 40s. So definitely much cooler to start the new year, but not brutally cold, which for some of you who've been around a while, remember we've had some brutally cold New Year's Eves before. It's going to be chilly this time, but it doesn't look like a Arctic tundra. Going into Thursday, we see some temperature recovery across the state, 60s back across the southwestern half of the state, up into West Texas, the Big Country. We still have some cool air damming out of Arkansas and the higher terrain and mounds up there. Highs in the 50s Thursday, Panhandle, Northwest Texas, North Texas, into the Arklatex, Northeast Texas. And then on Friday, you can see a colder air mass trying to move south, but mostly still north of the state. 50s, northern third, 60s, 70s, southern 2/3. Now, you may or may not have been hearing some discussion about a significant pattern change expected as we get into the second week of January, and that does look likely. It's going to get cold, probably the eastern 2/3 of the United States, east of the Continental Divide. Warm, west of the Continental Divide or the Rocky Mountains. So if you like warmth, go west, apparently. That being said, we had this discussion almost a year ago to the day. Yes, it's winter. Yes, we're bound to get cold at some point. No, I don't know how cold it's going to get, but at this point, the rhetoric over some sort of record, super-duper, spooky, historic cold air outbreak is unwarranted. Yeah, there is the potential for someone in the eastern half of the United States to get really stinking cold in this time frame, but guess what? There's no science in the long range outside of this. We're looking, 8, 12 days away. Guess what? I can't tell you if that super nasty cold air mass coming out of the Arctic is going to be shunted towards the southeastern United States, or if it's going to slide down the plains just east of the Rocky Mountains and make a beeline for us. At this point, though, yes, it does look like we are going to get colder. It's winter. Does this mean we're going to have sub-zero temperatures in Texas? Very unlikely. I mean, is it completely improbable? Possible? No. But guess what? It's technically not impossible. McAllen hits 100 degrees at some point in the next 30 days. Or Laredo. So, at this point, all we can do is say, yes, it is probably going to get colder, maybe very much colder, second week of January. Does that mean we're going to have Ice-mageddon, Blizzard-mageddon, Snow-mageddon? No. A lot of things have to come together. Could it happen? Sure. Does this mean we're going to experience a repeat of 2011 or 2021? Not likely. Impossible? No, I mean, not much is impossible when it comes to meteorology and Mother Nature, but at this point, I can promise you this. If it looked like we were going to get something crazy historic as a content creator or an influencer, don't you think I'd be shouting about it from the hills to get as much reach and attention as possible? Am I doing that? No. In fact, the opposite if you were on our social media platforms yesterday. So, we'll keep an eye on it. But for now, plan on cooler weather second week of January. It's probably going to feel like winter. Now, precipitation outlook? Probably equal chance of dry/wet weather. We'll see. So, that's going to be it. Your Monday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Again, busy fire weather issues today across the western half of the state. I know multiple resources have been pre-deployed and staged to deal with that if necessary. But the good news is the fire danger today is the highest we should have over the next several days as cooler weather arrives beginning, tomorrow night into Wednesday. As always, you can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radar, and more in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. And as always, you can find us here on YouTube. Just search for Texas Weather Center. Of course, our website, TexasStormChasers.com. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow with your next Texas Weather Roundup. Have a great Monday. God bless.